What's up, super people? My name is Aaron Oster. I am a #1 best-selling author on Amazon. And yes, as you've probably seen from the title, today we are going to be talking about, well, something that I did recently, and that was past 75 million page reads on Kindle Unlimited. Before we get into today's video, if you could please destroy that like button and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And with that said, let's get right into it. So, for those of you who don't know, I publish through Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, and when you publish through them, you have the option to go exclusive with Amazon by signing up to their Kindle Unlimited program. And by signing up to KDP Select, that's what they call it, you have the option to put your book into Amazon's Kindle Unlimited library, and you will get paid like between 0.4 of a cent and 4.5 or 4.8 of a cent per every page that someone reads when they enroll in that program. Basically, Amazon has a subscription service. You pay $10 a month. You can read as many books as you want that's in the program, and you as an author, if you opt into this, will get paid for every single page read. Now we're going to do a quick turnaround, and we're just going to get right into it. So here we go. Alright, so first off, as you can see, Age of Ancients now has a new cover. I've swapped them out after running several polls, pitting this one versus the dinosaur cover, and I'm confident that the dinosaur cover was really throwing me off. Try saying that 10 times fast. So as you can see, the reviews still really good. We're now at 4.8 out of 5 stars. So we did get a few bad reviews coming in, but I wasn't expecting the reviews to stay positive. But still, 4.8 is really good, especially with the way Amazon weighs in the favor of negative reviews. It's aggravating, but what can you do? Right now, the book is sitting at around 2,500 in the Kindle store, and yeah, it doesn't have a bestseller tag, but that's fine. I'm hoping to see this pick back up over the weekend. But as you can see right over here, you can read this book for free through Kindle Unlimited. And this book is enrolled in Kindle Unlimited. So if you're in Kindle Unlimited, instead of paying $3.99 for the book, you can just read it for free. Okay, so now we're going to move on over to, here we go, the lifetime reads of my account since August 2018. I'm going to be showing you guys, by the way, specifically, from when I first launched my first failed book, and then going through, as you can see, I'm going to talk about my best month. I'm going to talk about my worst month. So first of all, right as you can see, August 2018, nothing, because I obviously hadn't published anything. So September of 2018 is when I first published Arbor, which would be later republished as Rampage. Given a new title, storyline was fixed, got a good editor, etc. But as you can see, 2,935 page reads, which is like 5 books. It's not a lot of books. We move on to October, 915 reads, again, almost nothing. 1 in November, 445 in December, and 105 in January. Now, here, February is where I published Super Mage, where I first published Super Mage, and here you can see the first big jump in page reads. So I published right at the end of February, February 24th of 2019, and I got 137,547 page reads, excuse me, just in that month. But March was where it really started to pick up, and in March of 2019, I got 3,357,353. A lot of threes in there. Page reads of just Super Mage alone. Now, if you're wondering what, it kind of takes to get to the real, get really, well ranked in the Kindle store, these are kind of the numbers you got to look at. Now, again, I am not making this video to brag. I'm not making it to flex. I am just doing this to show what you can expect if you ever hit these kinds of numbers, and that it is entirely possible to make very, very good money doing something that you love. I mean, really, when I went into publish Super Mage, like I mentioned in all of my videos, I was not expecting to make a whole lot of money. I did enjoy the process, and I was hoping, I could make a little bit and be a bonus. So yeah, here we are. So moving on to April of 2019, 1.6 million page reads and 6 of Arbor for some reason. Moving on here, May. This is when I had Starbreak come out, and as you can see, the page reads just take this massive jump. You know, we go from 1.6 million to nearly 5 million page reads, 4 million, 956,605 reads through the whole month. 3.75 million from Starbreak, 1.198 from Supermage. And I did launch another book in this month, as you can see, Somerset, right at the end of the month. And Somerset was my first book from another series, and it didn't really end up doing all that well. Moving on to June, 2.67 million reads, 1.2 from Starbreak, 737,000 from Somerset, and 728,000 from Supermage. Now, I don't know why Arbor was still getting page reads by this point, but, I mean, weird. Alright, now moving on to my best month ever. To this day, I still have not surpassed this number of reads in a single month. July of 2019 was when I launched the third book in my Rise to Omniscience series, Skyflare, right over there, which coincidentally also ranked the best in the Kindle store at number 69. Funny, I know. 68 would have been better in terms of ranking, but I mean, 69. I could not have planned for anything better than that. Alright, as you can see, we had 3 million from Skyflare this month, 1 million from Starbreak, 659,000 from Supermage, and another 497,000 from Somerset. Here we are, August of 2019, 3.2 million page reads. Again, you'll see much higher numbers from Skyflare, which was the newly released book. Then moving on to Starbreak, Supermage. Power is the first book in my second best-selling series, Buryoku, and it launched towards the end of the month. Moving on, we are now going to... Here we are. We were in August, September. Gosh, it's hard to get. Here we go. September. 2.685 million in September. So we got almost 1.2 from Power. And as you can see, you know, numbers over there. Moving on. September was also when I launched Rampage. But as you can see over here, 137,000 of Rampage. This was the relaunch, by the way, of Arbor. And as you can see, there's a big hop up, obviously. Once you get, you know, to November, you see a big jump up in sales from Solar Spire, which was the fourth book in the Rise to Omniscience series. Yeah, as you can see, there's bigger spikes generally when Rise to Omniscience books sell, because like I said, Rise to Omniscience books specifically, I think have about 65% of my overall revenue comes in just from this series, which is why, you know, you write one good series and you could literally be set for life. Moving on to December of 2019, we have 3.29 million reads, 844,000 from Solar Spire, 660 from Skyflare, 528, 456, you know, just moving on down to listen to Somerset. It's already sort of faded off by this point. Moving on, January of 2020, as you can see, there's a bit of a dip, and that's because at the beginning of the year, I decided that since I'd started so many other series at the end of last year, I would start publishing more book 2s and book 3s and so on, which I did a lot of last year. But as you can see, I missed this point over here. Animal Kingdom Riot was the first really, really big failure that I launched at the end of 2019. I ended up actually not only completely tanking with this book release, but I actually lost money on it. I didn't even recoup the money that I made on this book. That's how bad it did. So this wasn't something like Somerset, which did sort of okay. No, this like completely tanked. I lost money on this book and all the time that went into it. So here we are in January. Animal Kingdom making me like next to nothing, but you know, 2 million reads in January. You know, we had Light, which was the second Buryoku book, come out at the end of January. So you see most of those sales in February. Moving on to March, we have Emerald, which is the second Land of the Elementals, the second Rampage book, and that's, you know, nice chunk of sales over there. And this is also around the time when COVID really started hitting. So as you can see, there is going to be like a bigger uptick of readership, just because so many people had so much time to sit at home and they were looking for stuff to do. This was also right over here in March is when I launched Stormforge. I don't know if it's showing up here or not, but no. In April of 2020, when we saw most of the sales, Stormforge, the next book in my Rise to Omniscience series, and a jump from 2 to 3 million reads. The sales continue on because I launched Silver Spear, the 6th book in the series, soon after, and it was a bigger book. Silver Spear was about 155,000 words versus Stormforge is like 128. So bigger book equals more page reads. So 4.1 million over here. In July, again, we continue on with 4 million, like strong months over here. I launched Water, the 3rd Buryoku book over here. Moving on to August, this is where I launched Origin, the 4th book, the 3rd book in my Land of the Elemental series. The 4th book and the final book in the series will be coming out sometime this year. There we go. On August, September. This would have been so much easier on my laptop. September, 3.5 million reads with Sand Queen coming out. That is the 7th book in Rise to Omniscience. Like I said, Rise to Omniscience books really give you a nice bump. October, we've still got that coming in. And completely forgot to mention this. In May, I launched, is it here? Giant Lands, right over there. So Giant Lands is so worse than Somerset, but not quite as bad as Animal Kingdom. So I did write a second book and launched 2 books in October, right? I launched Guardians, which is the 2nd book in the Rise to Omniscience series, right at the beginning of the month, and I launched, what else did I launch this month? I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of blanking on this. Like, right at the beginning of the month was Origin. Oh, yes, and it was Pendragon. Not Pendragon. I launched Pendragon back at the beginning of the year. Grempire, the last book of my The Rules, the series called The Rules, the one that, again, the Somerset series. I cut it short at 3 books. I wanted to finish it out for my readers. In December, we had a bit of a jump because of Sunscorch, 1.485 million that month, and that is because Sunscorch was a whopping 182,000 words long, which gave me a ton of page reads, even though overall sales were only about 2/3 in the first month of what Sand Queen was. And then finally, in January of 2021, 2.95 million page reads, which much better than last January at right around just 2 million flat. So if we're going year to date, I mean, at this point, I can't show you my 2019 reads versus my 2020 reads, but I did finish 2020 with about 3.5 to 4 million more reads than I did back in 2019. So I think I had around 34-ish in 2019 and about 38 in 2020. But I did have 2 extra months to work in 2020 than I did in 2019. So I'd say probably around the same, although I did make more money in 2020, like significantly more than I made, I made significantly more in 2020 than I made in 2019. Gosh, excuse me. So, now, I didn't actually go through all of the last, 18 or 20 months or whatever. It was, close to 24 months, because it's been nearly 2 years now since I launched my first big successful book, Super Mage. So, what I did was I just picked an average, something that I thought was about right, and, for the 75 million reads, I'm going to flip you guys around and I'll show you. If you guys want to go check up the past 2 years of Kindle payouts and average it out yourself, you're free to do the math, but this is how much I made, roughly, off of 75 million page reads. Here we go. And there you have it, 75 million times 0.0044, $330,000, roughly, just off Kindle Unlimited page reads. Yes, I realize that is an absolutely insane number. More money than I have made in my entire life doing horrible jobs for bosses that I didn't get along with very well. Bosses who literally cheated me out of thousands of dollars. And bosses who It did some kind of shady and illegal stuff. Not the last guy I worked for. I that guy was just a little too controlling and had to micromanage. But I have worked for some really, really shady bosses who literally stole money from me. But that aside, this is something that I never thought I'd be able to do. Like, making this much off just the page reads, by the way. Like, I didn't even count ebook sales. I didn't count anything from my Patreon. I didn't count anything from my audiobook sales. Like, all of that is extra on top of this. So, I mean, if you're looking to get into the writing world, if you're looking to publish your first book, I'm not promising you you're going to do well. In all likelihood, you're completely going to fail, just like I did the first time. But if you're consistent, if you get a good cover, you get a good editor to go over your manuscript, you do some good marketing, you follow all the right steps, you can have a much better chance of succeeding. I mean, look at me. The book that I just launched, Age of Ancients, wasn't doing too well, even though I followed all of my own steps. I don't know if it's going to pick up now that I swapped out covers, but I guess we're literally just going to have to wait and see on that. If it picks up, that means that the dinosaur cover just wasn't the way to go. If it doesn't, it could either mean A, I left it too late, or B, this series just wasn't meant to be, and I'll just have to try again when I finished writing out all the rest of my series for the year. Now, with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Yes, I realize this video was much longer than the videos I normally do, but if you liked it, please consider subscribing, destroying that like button for me. The algorithms, we all know the magical algorithms like it when you do stuff. Go grab a copy of Age of Ancients if you haven't yet. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep being super, and I will see you all next time.